Zion?
Just a big difference between those two teams. You're talking about a top 15 ranked team and a team that's trying to contend for a championship in the Missouri Valley with Northern Iowa. And we're not there yet. We're a team that's somewhere beneath those the top two teams in the league, and Wichita and UNI trying to get better. And they, it was 14-14, and they just jumped in us and exposed us. I've said all along, I think Fred VanVleet's the best pure point guard in the country, and they win easy without Ron Baker doing much, so it's a team that has played together, won a lot of games, very, very well coached, play the right way on both ends, and they're trying to contend for something and build for something bigger than this, and we didn't give much of a fight tonight.
Greg, what do you think got exposed the most during that run?
Their pressure. We turned it over 9 times in the first half, and I think that stretch we turned it over like 4 or 5 times. We're usually better against pressure. Hopefully we'll be better against pressure. But that stuff, if it gets you on your heels, they're like sharks out there with blood in the water. They just amp it up, and they've always been a great team of runs, and they put one on us pretty good there. And we didn't have enough timeouts to stop it. We didn't have enough poise to stop it. Against them, you have to have calmness and poise. We played into their hands a little bit, but they're just better than us.
Greg, can you expound a little bit on VanVleet and what he brings to the table and what makes him so? Because he doesn't jump off the page at you.
No.
You have to appreciate what he does a little bit.
I think he jumps off the page to coaches and people that watch just how good he is. He doesn't jump off the page because he's not a great athlete. Wichita gets great players, and they get better. All of them get better, okay? So they develop them. That's a great comment to make about their coaches. But he has gotten better. His leadership, the way he talks and the little things that he does, the way he commands their offense, I think everybody always says he's always under control, which he is. And he has gotten so much better off that ball screen that they've gone to a little bit more ball screen stuff than his triangle set just because Fred and Ron are so good at it. And we gave them a little too much space off that, but they take what the defense gives them and make the right play. And then they go down and they really guard.
Greg, when their press is one thing, but when they recover out of it into their half court as quickly as they do, I mean, is that almost...
You can't breathe.
Yeah.
You can't take a breath. A lot of times when you go against pressing teams, you break it. We in the past, when we played well against them, we've scored off it. And this is a different team. And we're not quite ready for the stuff that they give. But with those veterans and the athleticism and the way that they play, they're just smart, well put together, and just very, very good. And I'm not sure if we had many of those turnovers really against the press. It was more in the half court, just them climbing into us and us not being assertive with the ball.
Was it a lesson for guys like Trey Bennett and Brenton facing them for the first time, kind of the cross-court passes you might get away with against one team, to Kel Cotton and others jumping past.
You can't have any casualness to your game at all. Fred may look like he's casual, but he is in complete command all the time. And if you climb in him, he's by him. He does, and they make the right plays, and they're strong and deliberate with the basketball. It is a good lesson for them if they want to pay. Lou had them ready. We had a really good scouting report. It was simpler than what it usually is, but we didn't carry it out either. But it had everything to do with Wichita, and we have to learn from it. We got to play them again, and if we're lucky enough to play them in St. Louis, there's a big difference between UNI and them and the rest of the league. And we have a month to try to continue to get better and see if we can't keep playing.
Do you approach the game thinking we'd like to make Fred into more of a shooter? Is that, or more of a passer? Do you think about it ever in those terms?
Well, no. We have ideas that we want to try to make him do. He's really good at everything. You would probably want him attacking off that dribble to his right hand and trying to finish over bigger defenders. You try to not let him get his rhythm dribble with that left hand and shoot that pull up. I think a lot of people, you have plans and how you want to guard him, but he doesn't have weakness. He can go either way. He's strong. He can make threes. He can make pull-ups. He gets all the way to the basket. And if somebody's open, he makes the right play. So it's tough to have a scouting report for great players.
Obviously, you have a very good freshman in Brenton, but the pick that Fred had on him in the first half, and then he went and scored on him, that made it 14-14. How big a play was that in the game, and how do you think it affected Brenton's confidence?
There's a lot of stuff, and with young guys like that, it's a real good point because young guys let bad offense or a turnover or a missed shot affect them at the defensive end, and that's one thing we've been trying to get Brenton to understand against your teams like Wichita. You're still going to have to defend every possession, and nothing is going to be easy. Absolutely, it's going to be very, very tough on the offensive on our offense because they're such good defenders. It's lessons he's going to have to learn because he'll be a focal point for a lot of defenses, and he's got to see what Ronnie Baker does, Kel Cotton does, and Devontae usually does a good job with that stuff. So it's a maturation process, but it was very much a veteran, talented team against some guys that weren't quite ready for it.
Anything else for Coach?